The most dangerous side effect of overthinking isn't anxiety. It isn't the sleepless nights or the sweaty palms. It is actually something far more insidious: the total inability to feel joy, even when good things finally happen. We often talk about the pain of overthinking, but we rarely discuss the numbness, that specific hollow silence where happiness is supposed to be.
Picture this. You finally get that promotion you've been analyzing for 3 years. You finally move into the apartment you stressed over for months. The moment arrives, the confetti falls, and you feel absolutely nothing. It's like watching a movie of your own life through a thick pane of glass. You know you should be happy, but the signal just isn't reaching your heart.
Psychologists call this phenomenon emotional blunting. It is a state where your emotional range is compressed. You don't feel the lows as intensely, perhaps, but you certainly don't feel the highs. It is a defense mechanism gone wrong, where your brain, exhausted from chronic analysis, decides that the safest way to survive is to simply stop feeling altogether.
Here is the biology behind your numbness. When you are a chronic overthinker, you are maintaining a constant high baseline of cortisol, the stress hormone. Your body is in a perpetual state of fight or flight, even when you are sitting safely on your sofa. This chronic cortisol flood does something tragic to your neurochemistry. It desensitizes your dopamine receptors.
Dopamine is the neurotransmitter of reward and pleasure. But when cortisol levels are chronically high, your brain down-regulates dopamine transmission to protect itself. It's a biological dampener. So when a joyous event occurs, your brain is literally too chemically exhausted to process the reward. You aren't ungrateful, you are chemically blockaded.
Overthinking is an addiction to analysis. We believe that if we analyze a situation enough, we can control the outcome. But analysis is the antithesis of experience. You cannot simultaneously dissect a moment and live within it. When you are busy analyzing why you are happy or how long this happiness will last, you step out of the experience and into the laboratory of your mind.
Brené Brown calls this foreboding joy. It's that terrifying feeling that grabs you the moment you let your guard down. Your overthinking brain whispers, "This is too good to be true," or "What if I lose this?" By preparing for disaster, you rob the present moment of its vitality. You are prepaying interest on a debt of sorrow that you may never actually owe. Your brain thinks this numbness is safety. It believes that if you don't get your hopes up, you can't be crushed. It's a primitive survival tactic. But in the modern world, this tactic backfires. Instead of protecting you from lions, it protects you from connection, from passion, and from the very essence of being alive. You become a survivor of a war that isn't happening. Have you noticed how weeks fly by without a single memorable marker? That's because emotion is the ink with which memory writes. Without the emotional spike of joy or excitement, days blend into a gray sludge of routine. You are functioning, yes. You are achieving, yes. But you are not living. You are simply existing on a high-functioning autopilot. Intellectualization is the overthinker's favorite drug. We wrap our feelings in words, concepts, and logic until they are suffocated. Instead of feeling sadness, we analyze the root cause of the sadness. Instead of feeling joy, we calculate the statistical probability of maintaining that joy. We become spectators of our own souls, critiquing the performance rather than acting in the play. This need for control is rooted in fear. Overthinking is simply the desire to control the future by simulating it in your mind 1,000 times. But happiness is, by its very nature, uncontrollable. It is spontaneous. It is messy. It is fleeting. By trying to grip it tightly with your analytical mind, you crush the very structure that allows it to exist.
How do you know if you're suffering from this emotional blunting? Check the signs. Do you feel a sense of detachment when loved ones embrace you? Do accomplishments feel like items on a checklist rather than triumphs? Do you find yourself faking reactions because you know logically you should be excited, even though you feel dead inside? This affects your relationships profoundly. Intimacy requires vulnerability, and vulnerability requires shutting down the analysis engine. If you are constantly analyzing your partner's words for hidden meanings, or analyzing your own performance as a partner, you are building a wall. Your partner is dating your defense mechanisms, not the real you.
Emotional blunting is often a precursor to, or a symptom of, severe burnout. Your brain has only so much energy. If 90% of your caloric energy is spent on ruminating about the past or worrying about the future, there is literally zero energy left to fuel the limbic system processes responsible for joy. You are emotionally bankrupt.
So, how do we break this cycle? How do we lower the cortisol wall and let the dopamine flow again? The first step is radical awareness. You must catch yourself in the act of analyzing joy. When a good moment happens and your brain starts the commentary track, you need to mentally hit the mute button.
You cannot think your way out of overthinking. You have to feel your way out. This means dropping into your body. Somatic practices are key. When you feel numb, focus on physical sensations, the texture of the chair, the temperature of the air, the rhythm of your breath. Force your consciousness out of your head and into your fingertips.
Try the 5-second savoring rule. When something good happens, a delicious coffee, a compliment, a sunset, force yourself to sit with that feeling for just 5 seconds before analyzing it. Do not let your mind hijack the moment. Protect that tiny spark of dopamine. Give it enough oxygen to burn before your anxiety throws a wet blanket on it. You must make peace with uncertainty. The numbness is a shield against the unknown. To feel joy is to be vulnerable to loss. Accept that bargain. Tell yourself, I am willing to risk the pain of losing this moment in exchange for the pleasure of fully feeling it right now. It is a brave declaration of intent to live.
Consider a worry detox. We often use worry as a stimulant. It keeps us alert. We need to retrain the brain to be comfortable with stillness. If there is no crisis, do not manufacture one just to feel normal. Learn to sit in the boredom. Boredom is the fertile soil from which creativity and genuine emotion eventually grow.
Resensitize your physical self. Overthinkers live in the abstract. Happiness lives in the concrete. Go for a walk without headphones. Touch the bark of a tree. Feel the cold water on your face. By stimulating your physical senses, you ground your electrical energy, pulling it down from the frantic mind into the receptive body. Stop waiting for the massive peaks to feel happiness. Overthinkers often raise the bar so high that only a life-changing event registers as good. Recalibrate your scale. Find joy in the mediocre, the quiet morning, the green traffic light, the fresh sheets. If you can't feel the small joys, you won't be able to hold the big ones. Treat feeling as a form of exposure therapy. If you've been numb for years, the first rush of genuine emotion might feel overwhelming, even scary. That's okay.
Let it wash over you without dissecting it. If you feel sad, just be sad. Don't ask why. Don't fix it. Just let the wave pass. This signals to your brain that emotions are safe.
Digital overstimulation feeds the analysis loop. The constant influx of information keeps cortisol high. Create sacred spaces in your day where no input is allowed. No podcasts, no news, no scrolling, just you and the world. In that silence, your dopamine receptors can finally reset and begin to heal.
Perfectionism is the enemy of joy. The need for things to be just right before you can enjoy them is a trap. Embrace the good enough. Your life doesn't need to be optimized to be enjoyed. It is messy, chaotic, and flawed. And it is within those flaws that the real texture of happiness is found. Gratitude is the antidote to foreboding joy, but not just the intellectual "I should be thankful" list. I mean visceral gratitude. When you feel that fear of happiness rising, counter it immediately by saying, "I am grateful for this moment right here, right now." It shifts your brain from a threat detection mode to a resource appreciation mode.
Be patient with yourself. You didn't become emotionally blunted overnight. You won't unfreeze overnight either. It is a thawing process. There will be days where you feel nothing again. Do not analyze that regression. Just gently guide your focus back to the present, back to the body, back to the breath.
As you practice this, slowly, the color will return. You will notice a laugh that feels genuine, a moment of peace that isn't interrupted by worry, a success that actually feels like a win. These are the signs that your cortisol is lowering and your capacity for joy is expanding. You are coming back to life.
Redefine success. Success is not just hitting goals while being miserable. True success is the ability to enjoy the fruits of your labor. If you conquer the world but lose your ability to feel it, you have gained nothing. Your emotional health is the vessel that holds your achievements. Without it, the vessel leaks.
So here is my challenge to you today. Stop analyzing your life and start trusting it. Stop preparing for the disaster that hasn't happened. Put down the magnifying glass and simply look at the view. Your happiness has been waiting for you behind that wall of worry. It's time to tear it down.
You deserve to feel this life, not just evaluate it. Let the guard down. Take the risk of joy. Because feeling, with all its risks and pains, is the only way to truly be alive. Thank you for listening, and remember, don't let your mind rob your heart.